Do you think that males who say they're women and just on that basis should have access into women's changing rooms?
But that's the situation.
But she won't answer the question.
All trans women and trans girls, including those who pass.
I think people think that I sat.
We could say,
Katy, you do need to let Kathleen answer.
Did she call him when she was like drunk or something?
So it is your view that you
can
want
I
to ban
finish
all-
my?
She's like at most halfway through her point. She's not interested in listening.
The decision I made was to just, whatever else she says, to just kind of ignore it. And just...
Is this good? Cutting this person off every time she gets anywhere near making a conclusion?
You're anti-trans.
Katy Montgomerie versus Dr. Stock. That'll be Kathleen Stock. I was hoping that this was like some kind of debate or conversation, but I don't actually know. I think it might, maybe it's a radio thing. We'll find out. We'll find out. Oh yeah, you can buy the music. I mean, listen, she can play guitar. She can probably play guitar much better than I can. I'm not really that much of a technical player. I like sounds and kind of ambiances, and most of all, I write. You know, I pride myself in writing good stuff. But yeah, her production needs work. I would offer to help her out with that, but she wouldn't want to associate with the likes of me because I'm a traitor or something. I don't know, whatever it was that fucking freak in my comment section earlier was saying. But yeah.
So
yeah, I can't really play that kind of thing, I'll be honest. She's probably a better guitarist than I am, but I would maintain that I make far better music than she does. And you can check out my music on Spotify and Bandcamp. You can buy things. There's plenty of things. I occasionally release something that I actually like more than 6 months after I made it. No way she would actually speak to Stock, surely. I'm not sure. We're going to find out.
the other day, in like December, Dr. Kathleen Stock, who is one of the most prominent gender critical people in the UK, went on to Ian Dale's show on LBC Radio, which is one of the most popular radio stations.
Yeah, I think she might have actually called into something, so she might have actually spoken to her. Which, hey, you know, fair play, I guess. I mean, she was on the line. I have made my feelings about the line extremely clear at this point, but if there's one thing I will say positive, even if I really don't actually mean this because of the way they format it, the way they 2v1 mute people, shit like that, she at least will occasionally talk to people that disagree. So many trans people won't fucking do that. Like trans rights activists, should I say, not trans people. Plenty of trans people are actually very normal people, believe it or not. I'm not one of them, but hey. Guitar is easier with man hands, my nails get in the way. Yeah. I mean, I've got long fingers, you know, they do help. They do help. But I mean, like, I'm not a metal player. I make like indie rock. Like I like indie, I like post-hardcore, I like post-rock, you know, that kind of thing.
In the UK, and they did a call-in show where you could just call in and talk to Dr. Stock and ask her questions, and I decided to call in. I haven't actually been on the other side of a call-in show before. I've only ever done like Aphis Experience, Talkhaven, the Transatlantic call-in show, which...
Yep, she's on this. Fucking sucks. I've reacted to her on this. It was terrible. At one point, the guy she was arguing with, like, you have to forgive me, my memory's not great because it was a while ago. The guy she was arguing with was, like, sat there while she asked 8 questions in a row and then carried on talking. She'd ask something and then just carry on talking. Do I like virtuoso stuff? Not really. I don't know. I like good songs. I like good lyrics. If it's like instrumental stuff, I tend to prefer more kind of atmospheric stuff. And you know, like flashy guitar playing can be really cool, but it's not like the be all. It's not the be all and end all for me. And I think that when every song has like 3 solos in it, I get quite bored. You don't see any female guitar players. You see some, a lot more like acoustic players, albeit, but You see some, I guess.
You should all go check out. And that's people calling into me and asking me questions and
getting muted and being spoken over the whole time, and you'll ask 20 questions in a row, and then your colleague will then start talking instead of letting the person fucking say anything. It's really gross. I hate The Line. I fucking hate those kind of shows. Like, clearly just wanting to stack the deck in these people's favor because transphobia or something, because, you know, being a tyrant on the other side is totally fucking better.
This was a very different experience, and I'd like to show you what happened, and then we can review it afterwards. So, here we go. Be warned, it's very frustrating.
Let's go to Katy.
I was about to compliment her and say that she's not really like poisoning the well or anything, but yeah, she kind of, right at the end, she fucked it up. So no compliment for you, Katy. Sorry.
Here's a new caller in Bristol. Hi, Katy.
Monty got this mic. Yeah, I don't want to say anything in case like something's actually up with like her top lip, but it's just kind of this. It's like tight. Like, Jesus Christ, mine can move, you know what I mean? I'm pretty sure I'm older than this person as well. But then she's probably had a lot more like, if either of us have had like facial surgery, it is her and not me, because I've had none.
Hi. I wanted to call to say I think it's...
Hi. Yeah, you can like... By the way, what happened to your eyebrows on this one, bro? Oh my God. This was me like a few years ago, to be fair. I used to go insane with like the makeup and stuff like that. Hi. Anyway.
It's very frustrating.
Let's go to Katy. Here's a new caller in Bristol. Hi, Katy.
Hi. I wanted to call to say I think it's perfectly reasonable to say the WHRC declaration is extremist and anyone who signed it, because it calls for such extreme measures. For example, banning all trans women and trans girls from all women's spaces.
Is that extremist? Well, the thing is, the other side is to say that men should have access to female spaces. But like, why? Why should a man get access to any of these spaces when they're a man and it's supposed to be female spaces? Why does it matter that you present yourself a certain way? Like, what's wrong with her makeup? Something about her eyebrows is like fucked. Brianna and Arden are terrible hosts. Which one's Brianna? I don't know if I've seen her. They constantly interrupt the callers, quickly get mad. They love... Oh, is that Ben? Is that Dr. Ben? Like, listen, I don't care about dead names. I just know people as what I know them as. Quickly get mad. Yes, very true. Like, Dr. Ben actually is the funniest one for that. Like, he'll just suddenly switch up, and it's like, what the f*** is wrong? Like, it reminds me of when I spoke to Alec Gunter. Like, just ramping up and getting angry for no reason because I was just trying to have a conversation, and he thought it was a fucking debate of utmost importance, which is why he ran away after a while. Botox. Something about like younger people getting Botox just really concerns me. I don't know. Like, why is it necessary? And why do we glamorize this shit so much? Poisoning the well of a caller. As soon as a hint of something they don't like is being said. Yeah. Like, the most recent one I saw was Arden and Matt Dillahunty. And Arden just was straight up not answering the guy that she was talking about's questions, just monologuing about nothing. And then eventually Matt Dillahunty just starts getting involved to spurg out at him and like all this dumb shit. What is a woman's space if it allows male? Exactly. Like, it doesn't make any sense what she's saying. Like, it's extremist that males shouldn't have access to these spaces. Like, not really. I mean, I don't necessarily think that there's much point in like toilets maybe, because it doesn't seem hugely enforceable and it doesn't seem like there's much of a problem. But at the same time, I understand that people feel a certain way.
There was some confusion with the last...
Because there's an obvious answer to this. Well, trans women and men, we want female spaces, male spaces. Oh, it was Ben. Oh, fair enough. Yeah, Dr. Ben, like, Jesus Christ. I can see why he has to, like, highlight the doctor part, because if he didn't highlight him being a supposed doctor, nobody would believe him. He is dumb as bricks.
Caller who seemed to think that trans women and girls don't use these spaces today, but they do. And a ban would ruin the lives of tens of thousands of people across.
Ruin the lives how? What the did she call him when she was like drunk or something? Like, this person like prides himself on being like a debate lord, like whatever the fuck, was on like the line and stuff. This is like stupid. Ruin the lives, like okay. Using the men's is totally gonna ruin your life. Why don't you see what it's like? Why don't you go to Egypt or Iran or Afghanistan or something looking like this and see what happens to you? I think this is rank privilege, quite frankly. It's a bit disgusting. Affirming wrong sex pronouns gives a mixed message. I don't know. I try not to get too pedantic about stuff, especially where I don't know. I'm a tranny in a space that doesn't particularly like trannies all the time. So I don't know. I'm trying not to throw too many stones, I guess. And truthfully, like, I just don't give a fuck about pronouns in general. Someone calls me a he, someone calls me a she, like, fucking whatever. Someone calls Monty a he or a she, fucking whatever. I don't know. I think the only other thing is, like, when you constantly get corrected, it's annoying whatever side it comes from. Like, it started out that it's annoying that you call something what you see, or you call something what you call them because you use pronouns in a sexed way. And then you constantly got fucking people correcting you. But then nowadays, on the other side, you use a pronoun that is based on what you see, even if it's not correct in someone's view. And you'll get them fucking correcting you. To me, it's fucking annoying either side. I'm just shit at pronouns. Imagine getting blown up on the battlefield when you come around. Dr. Banner's giving you a vagina. Well, he didn't want his, so I guess it makes sense, you know. The debate when Dylan, he got called gay and got asked about his boyfriend. I'm going to have to find that sometime. Fucking hell. He had a girlfriend who did sex work. Really insensitive opinions about prostitution. Defending it as empowering. Gross. Listen, I respect people's right to like do what they want if they want to be a sex worker and stuff, but we shouldn't be acting like it's like, we shouldn't be acting like it's empowering. And if you're a male person, you absolutely should not be fucking acting like it's empowering. You're the one benefiting. You're the one getting your dick wet. Like, what are you doing?
Country, I don't know how, how is that not extremist?
Okay, so she hasn't made any points except implying trans women are women and appeal to emotion, you're going to ruin people's lives. How? Who knows?
Well, I mean, tens of thousands, we don't really know because we can't get reliable stats
thousands
on...
then, even if it's hundreds.
Jesus. You can tell she's been on the line, just fucking jumping in like that, like fucking hell. This isn't even really the particularly good part of the point. Like, I'm guessing she's gonna get there, but I wonder why trans men are not talked about as often. I'm sure there are lots of reasons, but part of me feels that women tend not to be as aggressive. Yeah, one of the problem, I mean, I guess they're talking about like female spaces. And the problem really is that certain kind of female spaces, they don't want males in there because males are just bigger, stronger. Males have a much higher rate of like sexual assaulting people. So that tends to be what the concerns are. If you look at the numbers from the Tavistock, it went up 400%. Yeah, the numbers went crazy at some point. And the other thing is, like, trans men, like, went flying past trans women when it comes to, like, which one there's more of, which doesn't happen naturally. That's just not normal. And a lot of it is because of all these, like, female trans-identifying teenagers that are rushing out to get their tits cut off and stuff, and then some of them regret it and they won't be able to have kids possibly. Thoughts on Gen Spect? I don't actually have any. I'm not very familiar with them.
We don't really know because we can't get reliable stats on...
Then.
Can't even get a sentence out. She didn't interrupt you, bro. What are you doing? This isn't the line.
Even if it's hundreds.
Well, listen...
Even if it's hundreds of people whose lives you're ruining. By the way, we haven't established how those lives are being ruined. We haven't established any issues on the other side as to why they might want to access female spaces. You know what I mean? Why there might be a problem on the other side. Yeah, this is already terrible. This is a fucking terrible debate already. Have a feeling that Kathleen Stark is going to eat her for dinner. Trans men tend to pass better than the untrained eye. Yeah, that is true. Quite often, if you look at their body shape, that's kind of where it comes from. But I mean, testosterone is powerful. You've got a lower voice. You've got facial hair. Whereas trans women still have those things too. So that just makes them also seem male.
Ruining the lives of thousands. These people use these spaces.
This is just appeal to emotion. This is just, you're just trying to steamroll her into feeling guilty about what? Ruining their life how?
Every single day for their protection.
So we're
from the same misogynistic sexism that you face.
Yeah.
Yes.
From the same misogynistic system. How can it be misogyny if you're not a woman? Why do males get to claim womanhood? We haven't established any of this. And she's like, it sounds like she's crying. Is she okay? Like, fucking hell. Like, Monty, if you need a shoulder to cry on about this shit, like, fucking come talk to me. I won't stop calling you Monty because it's funny to me. Also, really don't do your hair like this because this, not good, not good. There's a reason why I don't, go around like this because it's not a good look. Like, it makes my forehead look enormous. You gotta be careful. You gotta work with what you got, you know what I mean?
As I said earlier, I think that we need to think creatively about that, and that we could resource.
She cannot get a sentence out. Fucking hell.
Those are creative. If the WHRC declaration calls for a blanket ban,
I think that where women, I think that where women and girls get undressed or sleep or are otherwise vulnerable to sexual assault, yes,
which is in the list.
Yes, you are correct about my view. I think that where women and girls are vulnerable.
Ban all trans women and girls from all women's spaces, including toilets. Well, yeah, because they're male. It's a very obvious point. Same reason you don't see FDM playing male sports. To be fair, you might see them playing sport. Actually, no, you made that point. They're not competitive. And that's the other thing. It's like with sports, technically, it can go both ways. Trans men, actually, it depends on the fucking juicing and shit like that. But let's say that trans men can go in and compete with the men's. They're not competitive. So you only see it go one way. You only see male athletes going into the women's and beating people. You don't see female athletes going into the men's and beating people. And there's a fucking obvious reason for that. It's because males are bigger and stronger. Males are better at most sports, just by default. And then you end up with things like Iman Khalif, who was almost definitely a male based on the evidence we have. It's not like she's ever going to release anything to say otherwise, so.
Yes, you are correct about my view. I think that where women and girls are vulnerable, especially vulnerable to a range of sexual assaults that don't just include the very worst, but also include voyeurism.
By the way, don't know if she's going to mention this. Trans women commit crimes like these at a similar rate to men, not women. Food for thought when letting them in with those in the fucking... It's not about testosterone, it's our bodies are different. Well, I mean, I don't know. Whatever it is, the truth is that men are better than women at most sports. So women trying to compete with men is just not going to work for the most part. And it goes one way. It's the males that are going into the female sports and winning. That's what I'm saying. I'm probably kind of simplifying what you're saying a hell of a lot, to be fair. But I mean, yeah, you don't really need to get deep into it. Like, men are just almost always better at sports than women.
Camera crimes, upskirting. We should protect. I've been a victim of that myself. Right. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, but we should.
I mean, men rape each other as well. Like, Jesus Christ, if there were no women, do you think that rape statistics would go down? No, the men will just fucking rape each other instead. Like, Jesus fucking Christ.
Protect them. I don't know why I'm saying. It's true.
I don't know why I'm saying that and laughing. By the way, it's not funny. It's gross.
Right. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, but we should protect them. Now, it's true, as I said earlier, that there are transsexuals who have been through medical transition, taken hormones for years, and who are I could not tell the difference. They are using those spaces,
you're calling to ban them from the toilets too.
I have no way.
God, let her finish the sentence, bro.
Transition, taken hormones for years, and who are I could not tell the difference. They are using those spaces, and
she's like at most halfway through her point. She's not interested in listening. Yeah, there's a handful of sports where women might be better or where it's pretty equal. But in general, males are bigger and stronger, and that's why they win. That's why they tend to win, at least. That's why they're better in most of them. You know what I mean? Over half of MTF and federal prisons there for sex crimes. Yeah, we're overrepresented. And like another thing is like so many fucking male rapists will just like transition to try and get away from it. There's someone called Lexi Secker on YouTube who he raped a woman and then changed his name to fucking Lexi and made a YouTube channel. Like what, to try and get away from that? Pushing all the weird TRA shit? It's bizarre. It's bizarre. Women can't cut body fat the same way a man can. Yes, true.
To ban them from the toilets too.
I have no way of stopping people who look like women from using women's spaces. I have no way of stopping any of it anyway.
This is true. She's even acknowledging that it's not very enforceable, which is, you kind of have to, because it isn't really. But the thing is, someone that passes perfectly, that still has a penis, that decides that they're gonna have a bit of fun with someone at their own expense. It's like, fuck, like, can we risk that? You have to be careful. You have to be very careful. Prison non-set gendered is for it. Yeah, there's so many of them. Fucking Isla Bryson. It's not even just like prison. It's not even just like the higher end of like crimes and stuff. Even people that just shame themselves. Even people that just like fuck their own lives up through their own stupidity. Like Ethan is Online, for example. You fuck your own life up. You tank your own viewership because you orchestrated a really stupid fucking cancellation attempt on someone that really didn't do anything to warrant it. I'll just transition. You'll be fine. You can just have a new life, and people will lavish attention and love on you. You know what I mean? Talked to Lexi Secker once on Twitter. Yeah, I used to see them around on Twitter as well. Like I recognize the username, and it just I don't think I ever interacted with them, and if I did, it would have been to give them shit because they'd have been saying the same shit that they were saying in their videos, which I happen to have watched one or two, and that it's dumb. It's fucking dumb. I should watch another one sometime. But like, yeah, fuck me, disgusting human being. Yeah, no laws. Like, we don't really make laws based on if they're enforceable or not. And that's something I wish I'd gone down that route more with Alex Gunt. Like, you know, think about retrospectively potentially catching people doing stuff, and also are laws there because they're enforceable, or are they there to sort of state principles, to sort of, you know, this is the principle of how this works, you know what I mean?
Because I'm not the police, but I'm saying what I'm talking about is males who have had no intervention whatsoever.
Oh, she's there's loads of poisoning the. Do I want to say poisoning the well? She's dropping in all these stupid fucking things because she didn't do a good job in her debate. So this is a way of coping. Yeah, there's probably some problems with the police. Wouldn't surprise me if this stupid fuck is ACAB. We are not an ACAB channel. You can take your ACAB elsewhere. To me, pushing those kind of attitudes actually puts people in danger. I've watched so many body cams where it's clear that the person the police have been called on has one of those kind of complexes about them. So much danger can occur because of those kind of attitudes. But yeah, like all these like pathetic like overlays, like sorry you didn't do well in your debate because it's clear you didn't. Like so far this is a washout.
I'm saying what I'm talking about is males who have had no intervention whatsoever, who
But
simply
why have you
say...
signed a document that says you want to ban...
Oh my God, let her fucking finish. Jesus fuck.
no intervention whatsoever, who
But why
simply
have you signed a
say...
document...
Who was it that said the line was good earlier? This is one of their hosts or former hosts. Is this good? Cutting this person off every time she gets anywhere near making a conclusion? I'm struggling actually to understand half of Kathleen Stock's points because she can't finish any of them. Shit.
that says you want to ban all trans women and trans girls, including those who pass.
I think people think that I sat...
We could say,
This-
oh, well,
Katy,
I can't tell, so we can't do anything about it.
you do need to let Kathleen answer.
There's two things to say about this. One, just generally about this WHRC declaration. I was never... I'm just saying parenthetic.
And what's the claim, by the way? That this WHRC thing is extremists. Okay, even if it's extremist. So what? What are you saying? What's the point? What point are you making exactly? I don't know. Why not criticize it for itself instead of deciding whether it's like extremist or not? You know what I mean? It's like when people are like, when people's point is like, this is transphobic. It's like, okay, maybe it is. Who cares? Why is it bad though? That's the point.
I was never asked about this until Sussex and the massive protest kicked off, and suddenly this got discovered as the reason. I mean, it's completely confected. Nobody had a clue I signed that until somebody looked it up 2 months ago. Secondly...
Oh, it was her. Yeah, of course it was. Of course it was. You're a fucking loser and you're proud of it, obviously.
I think you all think I was in some sort of big ceremony with a gold pen. I literally got an email and added my name along with hundreds and hundreds of other people.
Well,
so
now you know.
Well, you're halfway through a sentence, so it's my turn to talk again. When she is hosting, she has zero tolerance for being interrupted herself. Perfectly fine interrupting the host. Yeah. Tell me again, we're not all fucking narcissists and we're not all fucking steamrolling male steamrollers of conversations. It's a very male way of doing things, by the way, to steamroll a conversation like this.
well, now I do, but you know, and I'm explaining. I'm not.
Would you condemn something that extreme? Because
I don't think it is extreme.
Would you condemn something that extreme? I think I've just heard the stupidest question ever asked in a debate ever.
Not have read it though before you signed it.
I did read it, but have you read it yourself?
None
I'm
of these things
not
that
saying I
Katie's
disagree
saying
with it.
that they didn't sort of trigger you to think, maybe this is a little bit
Well,
much.
no, I'm explaining that.
The worst thing is he has to pretend to be like balanced. The things that she's saying, that it's extreme, that you're banning males from a fucking like what? Oh, hi Sylvia. I don't know why that is. Maybe I'm posting too many videos at the moment. Anyway, I'm glad to see you.
This is my view, but I have also said.
So it is your
can
view
I
that you want to ban
finish
all
my?
trans women?
Yeah, you're being too polite, Kathleen. Listen, Dr. Stock, with all respect. With all respect, I appreciate professionalism, but this fucking person doesn't deserve anywhere near how nice you're being right now. Big tranny doesn't want you to know I'm lying. To be clear, I have no idea, but I almost want to roll with that because that's quite funny.
Sentence, because I do think it is relevant to your question, whether or not you agree. I personally don't see the pressing social problem as trans women who have had medical transitions using women's changing rooms. I see the pressing social problem for me personally, where I've directed all of my energy in the last few years, is self-ID. And the idea that you don't need to...
Yes. True. Fuck self-ID. Get rid of it. You can't just call yourself a thing and you are a thing. She's just right.
Do any of that.
Because what's to stop this person calling himself a woman and then using female spaces? And this person seems fine with it because, you know, you have to let them all in. Otherwise, it's extremist, I guess.
You signed something calling for a blanket ban. If you don't want a blanket ban...
Blanket ban of males. Oh, fucking hell. It is frustrating. You're right, Katie. I don't think I'm finding it frustrating in the way that you hoped I would, though.
Why don't you remove your name from the list and condemn the extreme...
Katie, would it make a difference?
Why don't you think what I want you to think?
To you if I did? Would you then say that the rest of what I thought was reasonable? Or is this just a total nonsense of an objection because you don't like what I say generally. So you found this example and you're going on about it because basically, who cares whether I signed an email or not? My view's my views, and I'm explaining. Well, I got it by email and I signed it. Like, I literally put my name into a box in my computer. I did. This is just a distraction.
This is a fucking blowout. Fucking hell. Why did you post this, Katie? What the fuck are you doing? And like, Jesus Christ. Okay, so the comments might not be quite as, might not be as completely captured and brainwashed here. Kathleen Stock is a legend. You have no argument, Monty. Refuse to walk back and like... There's barely any fucking ability for a conversation. I don't even know what she's fucking trying to say half the time because she gets halfway through a sentence and then all I can hear is, but blanket ban, ruining trans people's lives.
Action from the fact that I've written a whole book explaining my views. Do you agree with the rest of my views? All right, say that, let's never forget the blanket ban. Do you agree that self-ID that should not be the criterion of entry into women-only spaces? Do you agree with that?
That's the situation we have today.
What is
that what you mean by...
That's not what she asked. Do you agree with it, you dumb fuck?
Self-ID.
Do you think that males who say they're women and just on that basis should have access into women's changing rooms?
But that's the situation.
But she won't answer the question. She won't let this person answer almost anything. Because she gets halfway through a thing, which is then presumably going on to the actual point. And then she cuts her off. And then she gets asked a question and she won't answer it. Why don't you just answer? Why don't you say what you actually think? So many of these people never actually say what they think. So I don't know whether she thinks. Because the thing is, it almost sounds like she knows that her position is wrong. That she knows that it's completely fucking batshit to just say, well, I don't know, this guy in the middle, let's say he can just call himself a woman and then tomorrow go into a fucking rape center. I think on a level, she knows how batshit her fucking views are. And that's why she won't cop to it. It's pathetic.
So you do think that's right. Well, I disagree.
Dr. Stock is unambiguously wrong here. All public spaces in the UK have always been self-ID. Like, she's asking you whether you agree with it or not, you dumb fuck. You actual cretin. Like, fucking hell. The AEA, a gender-critical group, argued against this in court and were told by the judge the claimant's argument is an obvious absurdity. Just not answering a question here either. What do you think? She's asking what you think. This is like politician speak. It's annoying when politicians do it. It's even more annoying somehow when non-politicians do it. Because ultimately, what it makes it sound like is that you know that your position is wrong. And you know that to answer that question honestly would not make you look very good. It is very odd, yes. But then I can't talk. My voice is very odd as well. But I don't know. I am okay with it. I used to be very bothered by that I sound kind of male. But I mean, I don't know. I have a very unique singing voice, and I don't want to trade that in. You know what I mean? There's a lot of very generic sounding singers out there, and it turns me off. I'd rather hear someone that sounds authentic. Self-ID has been the default up now. All this does is cause the public to demand even more legislation, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I guess that technically is how it works. Because it's not like there's any police outside the bathrooms, etc. But, like, she's being asked what she thinks and she won't answer. So that kind of invites speculation. Well, why won't she answer that? Why won't she say what she thinks? Is it because that might make her look bad? Because if you're to say, men should just fucking flood the women's room in mass, yeah, that doesn't sound very good. And that's a potential logical endpoint of what you're saying. You know what I'm saying? Oh, thank you. Yeah, I don't mind my voice anymore. But the thing is, like I said, I accept my male status. So if I have like a deeper voice, then, well, there's a fucking reason for that, you know? And I don't know. thinking that way just helped me a lot. I don't have to be neurotic about that shit anymore, and I can just do my own thing now.
Disagree with you. It's the situation that you've had your entire life, and I disagree with you about that
but
too.
I'm not calling to blanket ban use in the toilet, and
right.
You are calling to.
We don't even know what you think. We don't even know what you think. Like, what do you want? She champions for abortion. Is that Monty? Sorry, wouldn't answer the question about when it's too late to have an abortion. Late term abortion in 9 months. Jeez, well, maybe I can't verify that, to be clear.
To blanket ban trans women, regardless of my position,
regardless of my position, which I won't even fucking say. That's slimy. That's disgusting. You sound like a politician, and that's bad. You don't want to sound like a politician. No one likes politicians. Like, the odd politician out there that actually fucking says what they think. Like, I don't know. I think that's part, in fact, why it's kind of easy for people to end up getting swept up by someone like Donald Trump, because he doesn't talk like a politician. So people will get swept up with that, whether they actually agree with his shit or not. And that's just kind of how it is.
How well they transitioned.
Well, I've tried to explain my position.
I don't know who Roger Hodgson is. I have to look him up.
Katy, thank you very much. You've had a good go there.
Yes, I agree. You were fucking terrible, and you're burning in hell for it now, I guess. Amazing. But it never comes off. I can't do it. I can't even do it. Something's happened to like her upper lip. I don't want to like, I don't know. I don't want to be mean, because maybe there's actually an issue there, and like, you know, maybe a fixed cleft palate or something. I don't want to shit on that, but like the facial expression never changes. You know, like, you know, video games like GoldenEye, where they have like the guards and stuff, they have like faces, but they never change because it's like old video games. So like they don't really have the processing power to like animate their faces and stuff. That's what it reminds me of. And you shoot a guy in the head and he's all like, that's what it reminds me of, because it never changes.
All
Well,
right,
I've tried to
Katy.
explain my position.
Katy, thank you very much. You've had a good go there.
Like, it just looks fake. This looks like she's like, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. It's like uncanny. It's like watching a doll being like moved around sometimes. Oh, she changed. Oh, she did the stress sigh. Fair enough. Sometimes you got a stress sigh, so I guess you do have to drop the AGP smack for that. You do have to stop the duper's delight for a moment. Can be competitive, but unlikely to outshine the male players. As far as I know, like, trans men tend to not be as strong as trans women, who tend to not be as strong as men. So you probably would get the odd one that's quite exceptional in some ways, but for the most part, trans men are like a non-starter in sports. So it's just another thing where the males get to like come into the women's side and dominate them. Dr. Doak, look. and then the females don't get to do the same in reverse because they just can't. And there's something wrong with that. And it's extremely unfeminist.
Well, that was frustrating.
Yeah, I agree. It was fucking nuts. What did you do? What were you doing?
First of all, I guess I'd like to thank Ian Dale and LBC for taking my call and having me on and giving me the opportunity to talk to Dr. Stock. It's good that they let people with differing views on, even if it is a bit disappointing. They just give random gender critical people their own call-in shows.
Random gender critical people. Random gender critical people. I like how she wasted no time putting the boot in after that utterly fucking retarded fucking showing, quite frankly. Random gender critical people. Dr. Kathleen Stock, a random gender critical person. Random was a professor of philosophy, published academic work on aesthetics, fiction, imagination, sexual objectification, and orientation. She's just a random, like, What the fuck has Katy Montgomerie done that's anywhere comparable enough that she gets to call Kathleen Stock a random gender critical person? What an absolute loser.
On mainstream radio. But I guess the first thing that...
Yeah, she's genuinely annoyed that a person with differing views to her has been given a platform. That is so palpable. I'm disappointed that this free speech allows people who disagree with me to talk. Yes, exactly. Fucking hell. And then she does the same in reverse. So, like, what's her problem? She's been on the line. Which is way worse than that. On the line, there is no way they would have tolerated the behaviour of Katy Montgomerie were it to have been someone that is on the other side. No way. Like, what they do on the line is fucking far worse by orders of magnitude than this, which wasn't bad at all. She wasn't muted. She spoke over Kathleen Stock a lot. So Kathleen Stock started speaking over her back, which is good. Do that. Yeah. Fuck yeah. It's like so hypocritical.
I want to say about this interview is, or this discussion even, is that I probably came across a bit repetitive.
A bit repetitive. Yeah, that's the fucking problem. A bit repetitive. Yeah, that's the fucking problem. Jesus fucking Christ, man. Like, I know that there's trans people out there that do in fact have self-awareness, because I've watched other trans channels from people that are genuinely, like, smart and genuinely, you know, not utter freaks. Like, what is wrong with her? This is like that fake that fake kind of humility shit where you're like, well, you know, if I'd say I had a problem, it's that I'm too nice and like too empathetic. And I can 100% picture her saying that fucking up.
Just pushing one singular point and accepting some of the nonsense she said, or letting it slide.
What nonsense did she say? On the line, they literally default you to give your pronouns, hosted by people like Matt Dillahunty and Forrest Valkyrie. Fucking Forrest Valkyrie, Jesus Christ. Another utter loser who are utterly unwilling to consider anyone who disagrees at all. Yes, very true. So her shit is like way worse. And she's going to complain about this shit. The reason you're having to do all this like cope afterwards is because you fucked it up. Just be real. Just be real. If you didn't fuck it up, or if you were a secure person that could handle the fact that it didn't go well for you, you just post the thing and allow people to make their minds up. But instead you have to put all these fucking overlays, missing the point even more than you already fucking did. What's wild about Kathleen, how much they hate her, is that she is gender non-conforming herself. Yeah. If it was nonsense, why didn't you refute any of it? Because she sucks. Even if she was capable of refuting any of it, which obviously not. She sucks. She can't do this. Sorry, I thought I heard Antifa in my house for a sec there. Forrest Voltron.
Just to hammer home on my one point. Maybe I went a little bit too hard, but the goal of this...
Went a bit too hard. Well, no, you just didn't listen to a fucking thing she said. And like, yeah, I guess it was repetitive because she tried to make a point and then you would just say the same thing again. As if she might as well have just sang the fucking, I don't know, the Macarena. I don't fucking know.
Me calling in wasn't to change her mind. And it wasn't to like win.
Cope. Listen. If you have a debate and it doesn't go well for you and you start being, well, it wasn't like I was trying to change their mind. It's so insecure. You're so insecure, Katy. You're smelling before seeing it. True. Fucking hell. I don't have the most amazing sense of smell though. This is such cope. This is extremely, extremely insecure. Like fucking hell. I kind of love stuff like this. Like, this is the complete wrong way of doing this. Like, just have the conversation and then post it. Unless you're Alex Gunt, in which case have the conversation with me and then don't post it because you made a fucking twat out of yourself against someone that can't even debate. I'm not even good at debating. Like, at all. You know what I mean? It's mad.
In some argument or some debate. Or
anything going too hard is mad. Nice.
Some slam dunk. What I wanted to do was do some slam dunk.
I'm sorry, that's way too far. That's a bit mean. That's a bit mean.
Listening to this radio show, hopefully some of them would have been neutral on this. I wanted to show them that she does hold these extreme views.
Well, you fucked that one up, bro. No offense.
The British media has...
She sounds like me talking about the Alec Gunter thing when I'm like, I just want to get him talking and like get him to say some dumb shit because that's what they're always going to do. The thing is, you're trying to go after someone like Kathleen Stock, who I don't know very much about, but is intelligent. You know what I mean? This kind of shit only works on stupid people. But the problem is, this is the stupid person, not the other one. So it's like, shit.
Has done like an excellent job of uncritically platforming gender criticals and letting them...
Uncritically platforming gender critical. What about people like you that quite possibly want to transition kids? To be fair, I don't know that that's a position, but you're on the same side. You're pushing for the same shit. You know what I'm saying?
Say all of their like dog whistle stuff without any kind of analysis of what that means.
Dog whistle stuff without analysis of what that means. I'm sorry there wasn't someone there to give an English to retard translation of the shit she was saying. I'm sorry that ContraPoints hasn't done a fucking debunk of Kathleen Stock, I do apologize. Like, what?
And I know that she often presents herself as the moderate. Oh
my god, Matt Dillahunt, you debated Andrew Wilson. Jesus Christ. Like, I do not really agree with much of like Andrew Wilson's like worldview. I'm not like a Christian nationalist or anything like that. I'm nothing like any of that kind of stuff. I'm an atheist, I'm a liberal, etc., but I need to fucking watch that sometime. Like, I do actually think Andrew Wilson is like good at what he does, you know what I mean? Like his I saw bits of him talking to that Dean Withers, and that seemed pretty hilarious. I need to watch more of that. Actually, my favorite thing, honestly, was just Andrew Wilson causing havoc with that Stardust and Beckett, that relationship. Fucking hilarious. Too smart for Katy. Yeah. It's easy. It's too easy for her. And then this idiot has to spend more time coping than the actual fucking debate did because she can't get her points across because she didn't have any except what you think is extreme.
Person with reasonable concerns, someone who sits in the middle. And lots of people will think that she means, she just wants to ban men who say they're women.
Yeah, because that's what she's saying. Self-ID. Literally, men just saying they're women. Yeah, glad you're understanding the point.
Doesn't really want to ban, like, real trans people or whatever.
What's a real trans person?
And I just wanted to get her to say on air that she wants to ban.
Okay, so you came in this debate in complete bad faith and didn't get what you wanted. Amazing.
All trans women and girls from all...
Trans girls. You see? Why don't you have to be pushed back on? Why don't you have to be platformed in a way where there's someone there to mitigate what you're saying? I.e., it's pretty fucking disgusting to try and transition children, and they shouldn't be doing it. Like, clearly you support it because you're saying trans girls. Andrew Wilson's the best debater on YouTube right now. His debate with Naomi was like, I think I saw some of that. Jesus Christ. Naomi is a fucking clown. She's awful at debating. She's basically Trilk Alec Gunter.
All women's spaces, including toilets. And so in that sense, this was successful.
Sounded very unsure then. I don't think you believe your own bullshit. I don't think you're believing it.
I guess you can let me know how well you think I did on that and whether it was a good strategy or not. I think gender critical people have such a voice.
There wasn't a fucking strategy. Gender critical people have such a voice. Mate. I mean, 19K subscribers. How long has she been doing this? I'm interested in numbers and shit like that. Can you ask Charlie to make a male version of the pairing American Gothic with Arden and Matt? I don't know what that means, but fair enough. Oh, I do not break the British teeth stereotype. Trust me. Can you see? Can you see? I don't know if you can see. I do not break the British teeth. They're very uneven at the bottom, is what I'm trying to say. But loads of Americans have fucking terrible teeth. So, yeah. She's a feminist. You're not a feminist. You can't be a feminist and believe in self-ID. That doesn't make sense. That's ridiculous. You're just wrong. Your shit is garbled. Trans Day of Visibility, fucking hell. Gross. Yeah, quite a long time. I think we should normalize going after people's appearances. I think we should stop being wimps about it. I think it can be funny. I think that people need to stop trying to control each other's speech just because people are mean sometimes. I think people just need to get over it and accept that someone's going to make fun of you at least once in your life, and that everyone should potentially be made fun of at least once in their life, because that's just how it is. But yeah, 6 years, 19k subs. Cosplay family. Yeah, literally.
That they can get away with just lying about their positions.
You haven't shown a lie. Lena Headey. I don't know who that is.
And selling them as something less extreme than they really are, because trans people just don't have any...
You didn't demonstrate any of that, and you still haven't. You're able to say literally what you want now because you're at home on your setup. So why not debunk anything? It's like beyond parody. I don't understand how these people say the things that they say and don't ever hear them back. She edited this and put it together. Like, yeah, great idea. I know. Let's put this out into the fucking world. Cringe. Oh, the band James. They did sit down next to me. One of my old bands played on the same stage as them. We did a festival in Southampton. And we were like first on the bill at like 11 a.m. And like the same drum riser we used was also used by All Saints. And then like the headliners were like James and then like Lily Allen, like the same stages. We're on the main stage, just really fucking early, so not many people watched us. But yeah, that's my extremely slight brush with fame. I made Trans Day of Visibility posts too. Happy Trans Day of Visibility, recorded a few acoustic renditions, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I probably did. Do you know what happened, Hivesci? Like most people who age and mature, I have changed my perspectives on a lot of things. I've realized that things like Trans Day of Visibility are basically just hijacked by women who call themselves non-binary and therefore trans by technicality. And that's something I want no part of. So yeah, I did used to participate in stuff like that. I will be honest. I used to be very fucking woke. Like, I never had both feet in the whole cult shit because I never really truly believed I was a woman. I definitely never thought that kids should transition. I was always uncomfortable at the trans sports thing, but opinions like that weren't as extreme around trans people. But yeah, I probably did used to do that kind of stuff. I've changed my mind since then. Someone else has been doing that shit too. What was it? The trans positions. They've been running around leaving comments on my shit being like, you used to think that back in 2019. And I'm like, yeah, it's called changing your mind, bro. Like, kind of like trans people might change their mind as to whether they think they're a man or a woman. It's how it happens. So yeah, I don't know. Don't know what you want from me on that one.
The platform. So I just wanted to take this chance to get, the word out about what they actually think.
Just get the word out about what they actually think. What do they actually think? What, they don't want males in female spaces? Oh, wow, very extremist shit.
I did notice in the middle, when Ian Dale was grilling her on, like, did you even read this before you signed it? I mean, she seemed a little bit hypocritical there.
No, he was desperately trying to find balance. I wouldn't.
And to contradict herself, but he was like, well, didn't you read it and realise how extreme some of this stuff was? And she was like, well, no, because these are my positions. And I hope that came across to him, and maybe he'll consider that when he has gender critical people on the show in future, to maybe ask them what they actually mean when they say their views and whether they do support these extremist anti-trans.
I'll be honest. Listen, Lily Allen is wildly successful. Many, many, many times more successful than I will ever be. I just cannot stand the way she sings. Like that British accent she sings in. I just can't fucking stand it. Listen, she has a career based on that. Other people like it. I just don't, personally.
Trans positions. So, hopefully that was a success. I guess what my main criticism of myself in this was that I did interrupt her a bit too many times. I didn't want her to be able to whitewash her position and to just hide from the question I was asking, which she did try and do.
Hide from the question she asked you what you think about self-ID, whether that should be the standard for going in the toilet, and you didn't answer. You wouldn't give your position. You just said, that's how it is. Yeah, that's how it is, but what do you think of that? What do you think of the current situation? Jesus Christ, this is negative self-awareness. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is self-awareness falling in on itself and becoming anti-self-awareness.
And I do feel
nepotism got Lily a foot in the door. Nepotism gets almost everyone a fucking foot in the door. Most famous musicians are either celebrities that did other things, you know, fucking Disney princesses and stuff like that, or sons and daughters of like record execs, sons and daughters of other famous people. There's not many like musical artists out there that are like truly like homegrown. You get some, but especially nowadays, like music is like a fucking waste of time if you're not already famous doing something else. There's no point. Do it because you love it. Do it because you want to express yourself and you want to put some kind of legacy out into the world where people are going to find your music and listen to it and hopefully enjoy it. But, you know, don't delude yourself. It's a waste of fucking time. Cart all your fucking equipment around to a shithole fucking venue where the other bands don't even fucking listen to you anyway. And, you know, you get people that want to come until the last minute where it's like, oh, well, my little finger is like slightly achy, so I can't make it. And it's like, okay, great, amazing. Why am I doing this again? I don't know. The worst thing is I love performing. I'm a very quiet and withdrawn person, so getting up on stage and performing was like extremely freeing for me, but I don't know. I couldn't enjoy it anymore, so. And I mean, I don't have a job anymore, so it's like I can't fucking afford. I don't have a car either. So I can't afford to cart my shit around to go to rehearsals every week, pay money to do all that shit, cover all my costs, fuel, etc., etc., etc. Keep my equipment maintained, meaning that all my equipment is in a state of disrepair now. Like I have a huge pedal board because that's my thing. Only half of it is powered at the moment. I have about 2 guitars that are actually playable right now. Yeah. If you have like massive, if you're able to like fund yourself easily, then you can probably do it. And you can definitely do it for the love of it, sure, but I don't know. And there's too many bands out there as well. There's too much music and not enough of it is actually good, so. And then if you're the kind of musician that does quite unique kind of stuff, what you find is you get put on bills with loads of bands that sound nothing like you. None of the people watching, bar like 2 or 3 maybe, will enjoy it. And yeah, you just wonder why you bother, you know. I love doing like studio stuff, even if not many people listen, but hey.
I feel I needed to just keep pushing this.
Oh, you're the producer of Transpositions. Okay. Is that the one that Ember is on? She is concerning to me, frankly. Like, listening to like a person in her 50s or whatever talk that way, as if they're like 10 years old or something. The dobro. Oh, I don't know where it is. It's an Alden or something. But yeah, I have 2 resonators. I don't even play like blues or bluegrass or anything. I have 2 of them. I've also got a Harley Benton. This thing right here, I don't know if you can see. But I actually fucking hate playing acoustic guitar. I'm an electric player myself. Amber is unhinged. I actually agree. Someone that old talking in that neotinous and that clueless a way is like terrifying to me, utterly terrifying. And like all the victim shit as well. I just don't want any part of it. I'm not a fucking victim. I'm not oppressed. I live in Turf Island. Like, arguably I do experience at least some fucking oppression or have in my life. But it's not because I'm trans. I have way worse fucking shit to worry about than being trans. And for some reason, having like insane fucking mental health issues and stuff has given me like perspective. You'd think it'd make me even more unhinged than any of the rest of these people, but for some reason it hasn't. And I guess I'm grateful because I don't want to be one of those people, you know?
Same point, but maybe I went a little bit overboard. She interrupted me a little bit too much at the end. I interrupted her a little bit too much at the
What do you mean? She interrupted me too much at the end. I interrupted her too much at the start. What you're saying is you set the tone. you kept interrupting her, so she just had no qualms doing it back. I'm the same, like even with friends of mine and stuff. I'm not the most talkative person, and I try and be concise if I can. I try and just say the point. So like often I'll be friends with people who are like fucking yappers, and I have to cut them off if it's going to be a conversation and not just a monologue. So like, I don't know. You set the tone, you know what I mean? So she responded in kind. That's just it.
The start. I guess I
was woke as shit in 2020 until I found out a trans person tried to convince my sister she's a man, has a mental disability, punched that person in the face. Fair enough, yeah. I don't like the idea of like trying to convince people they're trans. I think that's pretty messed up.
apologise for that, for being a bit too hard, but I did know that she would try and do this. Oh no, I just have an issue with self-ID, without explaining what that really means and what she actually wants as an alternative to what we have today. I guess I apologise for that, for being a bit too hard, but I did know that she would try and do this. Oh no, I just have an issue with self-ID, without explaining what that really...
Do what exactly? Hang on one sec. She just has an issue with self-ID? Yeah, well that's the point. And I mean, at the moment, what else are you going to do but a blanket ban? It doesn't seem like there's much room for nuance at the moment. Like, maybe do the blanket ban and go from there. I don't fucking know. But I mean, you have to convince people why you're not still a male.
Really means and what she actually wants as an alternative to what we have today.
Doesn't explain what she wants as an alternative. The thing she signed, maybe that was the alternative. Maybe it's overreaching, but in her mind, like, it supports what she wants, so she'll deal with the overreach, and maybe hopefully they'll be able to refine it or something. I don't know. Like, man, how do we let so many of these really unintelligent people like take up the mantle for us? Why do we let this shit? Every trans person that heard this shit should have been like, fucking shut the fuck up, mate. You can't do this. You suck at this. This isn't working. It was frustrating because you hardly let her speak. Blanket ban wouldn't be on the table if you all hadn't gone to the extremes of self-ID in the first place. Yes, this is what I'm trying to fucking say. Like, yeah, it probably is overreaching for someone like Kathleen Stock. But like, what else is there at this point? We've got one side that wants men to just call themselves women and have access to everywhere they fucking want, when men are the ones doing the fucking sexual assault to women overwhelmingly, not the other way around. If you actually think about this shit for any length of time, it makes perfect sense. And the problem she has is that it's going against her personal shit. Every female scene was Bjork. Fair enough. I actually like Bjork. I don't know many people that like try and be her, but...
Today. I guess another, I don't know if criticism, strategy, decision that I made was to just, whatever else she says, to just kind of ignore it and just go hard on it.
You see what I mean? She's not listening to a word that Kathleen Stock says, so what's the point? You're not there for a conversation. I would be amazed if any of the people on the line are ever there for conversations. You know what I mean? Like, she's admitting how dishonest she is. Like, well done, bro. Well done.
That's one point. So, for example, she said, she called into question when I said this would ruin tens of thousands of people's lives. She was like, oh, tens of thousands.
Yeah, and she was wrong to do that. What she should have been like, well, ruin them how? Like, you can't use a certain bathroom. Go to fucking Iraq and see how far you get dressed like that, going to the fucking women's bathroom. If there even is one in fucking Iraq, I don't know. Like, fucking hell. How did we get this place? How did we get here? How are white, English-speaking people like this? Where did they go to the toilet before they transitioned? They presumably pissed themselves.
I mean, the UK government estimates hundreds of thousands, so tens of thousands, probably a reasonable underestimate.
Yeah, but like, who cares as well?
But I didn't really feel the need to challenge that, because the issue is, even if it's just 10 people, she still wants to ruin 10 people's lives.
No, she doesn't want to ruin 10 people's lives. That's you putting words in her mouth. That's you reaching into her head and telling her what she thinks. You can't do that. I can't tell you what you think. I mean, I can intuit based on the things you've said thus far, but like, you want to ruin 10 people's lives. That's a fucking stupid thing to say. Like, is that really the only conclusion you can come to? You're so utterly baffled by thinking that men can't be women that your response is, well, she must just be doing it because she wants to ruin people's lives. She must just hate certain kinds of people. It's mad. And this is the exact kind of rhetoric that is part of what is like dragged us down into the fucking quicksand where they are now. We can talk about making improvements to our societies if they aren't the same as Iraq. The thing is, the one trying to improve society is Kathleen Stock, and the one trying to resist that is Katy. And Katy is not giving any real reasons as to why it's the other way round. She's just making assumptions about what Kathleen Stock thinks. So yeah, I agree, but it's the wrong way round, unfortunately.
And that's an important point to hammer home, I think. I think another reason that...
An important point to hammer home. It's a shame that's not actually what she thinks, though, right? Jesus fucking Christ. Calls herself a feminist. Like, you're speaking for women. Okay, I won't get to it today, but I'll have a look. Thank you. Like, yeah, calling yourself a feminist. This is ghoulish. This is very much the reverse of feminism.
That I was a bit interrupty and I went a bit too hard on the same point is that I was actually really genuinely nervous before going on this show.
Oh yeah, you sounded like you were crying, true.
I only decided to do it a few minutes before I went live on air, so I didn't have much time to like prepare myself and cool down beforehand. And I've never talked to Dr. Stock like in person, in public before. She actually blocked me on Twitter when I brought up the...
Yeah, because you're fucking annoying on Twitter and you act like a fucking spastic.
LGBT Alliance opposes a conversion therapy ban on both trans and gay people in the...
Okay, conversion therapy ban. Where in the UK is conversion therapy carried out on either gay or trans people? What conversion therapy is being carried out in this country? What's the point in a conversion therapy ban? The thing is about the conversion therapy bans is that what these people tend to describe as conversion therapy is often just like talking therapy aimed at exploring issues a person has instead of immediately affirming them as trans. You know what I'm saying?
UK. So make of that what you will.
By the way, I don't even know if they think that anymore. And the other thing is, of course, the way she's framing the LGBT Alliance thing, we don't know why, we don't know what their actual position on this is, because we're getting her version of it. And this person is not trustworthy. No one is trustworthy to me, but that's beside the point. And what they're calling conversion therapy is transing gay kids, because gay kids can't always handle the fact that they're gay. Or they might be in a family that would rather have a straight daughter than a gay son or something. So they just have a different perspective of what conversion therapy is. Like, I really hope one day that this LGBT Alliance boogeyman shit stops. It's so pathetic. These people think that if they just invoke the LGBT Alliance, that's all they gotta do. When, I don't know, if you think about shit for any length of time, they're not like evil or anything. You're just saying they are.
But, you know, it is kind of intimidating. She actually blocked me on Twitter when I brought up that LGBT Alliance opposes a conversion therapy ban on both trans and gay people in the UK. So make of that what you will.
No, I'm sorry. I'm doing this until I get the pause right, because I need to make a point that half of my audience is going to disagree with me on, but I don't give a fuck.
Conversion therapy ban on both trans and gay people in the UK. So make of that what you will.
It's because she knows she's full of shit. You're hearing what I'm saying about Duper's Delight, RE ContraPoints? It's the same shit. She knows this is bullshit. She knows she's talking utter shit about a group she probably does not understand. It's so fucking obvious.
But, you know, it is kind of...
Imagine conversion therapy being something that converts something into someone they already are. Jesus Christ. I would love to know what conversion therapy actually happens in the UK. Conversion therapy that is actually trying to stop someone from being gay, trying to stop someone from being trans, like forcibly, instead of any treatment that's not fucking self-ID and affirmation.
Kind of intimidating to go up against these people, and I don't know, I hope this was practice and I can get better at it. But yeah, let me know how well you think I did and whether it was a good idea to do the strategy that I did. I do feel that they need to be confronted somehow.
Constantly saying strategy. Okay, bro. Okay.
And we do need to make it clear what gender critical is, because it...
Yeah, we do. It's believing that sex is immutable. I'm doing it here. If you have a trans movement, why LGBT can't have it, I don't understand. Because the only way to make trans seem legitimate in this day and age is to glue it onto the back of LGBT, which is a sexuality, not a gender identity, which is very meaningless. But yeah.
Does so well in the public because they present it as harmless and reasonable, and they don't show everyone that they want all this extremist garbage.
Show everyone they want is extremist garbage. No, mate, you don't understand politics. You don't understand compromise. You don't understand that someone might sign something that they only agree with some of. You don't understand that someone might work with someone else that they don't fully agree with, which is how we get all the bullshit where we decided that gender critical people are now far right, even though most of them are literally like liberals. God, this is disgusting. Now we'll finish it.
That would, ruin my life. So I do think we do need to argue with them when we can, especially in situations like this. But I don't know if this was necessarily the best strategy. Yeah, welcoming all constructive feedback in the comments.
Here's my constructive feedback to you, Katy Montgomerie. Why the fuck you lying? Oh my God, stop fucking lying. Okay, that was Katy Montgomerie. I am watching something else.